This is war! What your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
All right, Sunday evening. Welcome back, brother. Welcome.
What's up?
Welcome back, everyone. The American Radio Show. Welcome. We're pretty dang close. I'll admit it. I'm the one that has a hard time starting on time. I do. I try to pack too much into a day. I have a hard time getting to it, and so. But we're pretty good tonight. So, dude, tonight is the first article the first story that we really got into. I'm afraid. I told you before we started. I'm afraid that it might be the only article we get through tonight.
Hey, that's what we got to do, brother. I mean, there is so much to talk about, but sometimes there is an article that comes along that just snags your attention and says, "Hey, you can dissect me like a 7th grade science project."
I actually think that this story is, it's almost a missing link of sorts, the way I think we're going to get into it. I think it's going to shed light on a lot of the questions that, some of these things that we've known for so long about corruption. I know I'm being cryptic here, but about, the corruption in this country on all levels. And in all arenas, and I think that this story does a lot to tie together. So.
Yes, it does. And hey, I want to give a shout out to everybody in here.
Yeah.
Keith, Big Sarge, thanks for coming in, Big Sarge. It was great being on the show last night. Look forward to talking to you in the future.
I've got to listen to that. I missed it. Sorry about that, Big Sarge. I was busy. I'm working on. I'm starting a new job, so I'm heavy working on that. So, but thank you again for all you do.
Lori, yeah, thanks, Big Sarge. We got Lori in here, Mama Winner, the Golden Eagles in the house. Derek from Silicon Valley, Francis. We have Marcus in here saying that Facebook will not let him share. Jim,
Again?
Silicon Valley there too, yeah. Martha invited my son. Thanks, Martha.
Hang on just a second, Ty. Sometimes, whoever can't share, sometimes if you back out and you see where the video is just in your news feed, or you can back out before you're actually clicked into the video, it'll have a share button there, and I'm told that sometimes that share button will work when the one within the video doesn't, and I don't know why, but they're screwing with so many things on Facebook. It's not just this, it's not just the stuff that they announce about how they're going to change the way the news feed comes at you. No, when you do this, when you have a page, and I haven't been doing this a long time, but I started doing this radio show, in 2016, I guess, when I was a senior in college, and then, of course, with the American Freedom Keepers and all through the last 10 months. And so when you do this, you watch enough of the insights, the analytics, right, on the page, and you see all your trend, everything. For those of you that don't know, you can see everything. People that view,
it breaks it all down.
Yeah, people that view, people that share, people that not the individuals, but numbers, likes to the page, shares to the page, minutes viewed on per video, 10-second viewers, 3-second viewers. All this stuff. And I'm sorry, but when you're doing the same thing, and then all of a sudden you notice a 60%. We had when we had separate pages. Do you remember that week where we were rocking along, and then all of a sudden we had 3 shows in a row that were just like, what the hell just happened? We had 18 live viewers.
Yeah, and you'd see the numbers climb up and then just drop really quick and some funky things. So yeah, they're definitely it was they're trying to silence us, guys.
Yeah, it was like a 60% drop during that week. Now things have picked back up since we merged the pages, but I'm waiting, unfortunately, for them to start targeting this new kind of platform. So anyway, who else is with us tonight? Sorry, I interrupted you.
We have Karen in here, Martha. Thank you, guys. Elizabeth said, "Share Patriots." Yeah, guys, if you could please share this out, share it out to the groups. We do have Facebook, like Francis said, trying to shut us down, stifle us, muffle us. And you want to know why? It's because we're taking stories like this that are hit in the bottom pages. The press isn't talking anything about Moby. If this would have been during the Kennedy years, that somebody from the CIA...
Cat's out of the bag.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. No, it's not.
Cat's
sorry.
out of the bag. That's all right. Cat's out of the bag. This is what we're going to go over. So go ahead. Yeah, this story's buried, basically.
So, yeah. So the story's buried. Sorry, guys, everybody in the house. Go ahead, Francis. You lead in with it.
Okay, you ready to rock and roll? Who else is with us? I want to make sure, because as we get going with this...
What's up, Brother Troy?
This is the best time to share it in the beginning, is so we can get it out on pages, get it circulating. It helps us the most, so that's my shameless help. But other than that, that way you can share it now that way you don't get pulled out when it gets into the other good stuff. So, I want to say who else is here, because when we get rolling, man, we might not have time.
Yeah. So, go for it.
Troy's with us. Who else is in there?
Yeah, Troy. Okay, Troy. We have Melissa in here. We have Jim. We have Michelle Bonaquist in here. We have quite a few people in here this evening. Yeah, we have Michelle in here.
Michelle, that's a new name. Welcome to the show.
Yeah,
I
Lori.
don't recognize the name.
Lori says, waiting patiently for infinity.
Oh, Lori. Woohoo, Lori. Stay tuned. Don't click out of this video. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Sorry, Jim. Most of us have boycotted the NFL. Heard Facebook lost a bunch of new money over the new platform, or a bunch of money over the new platform.
2.9 billion, not Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg himself. First of all, don't feel bad for him, because his shares, his stock that he has in Facebook, are still worth $50.2 billion. His total net worth is like $74.4 billion. But
yeah.
I'm sucking on a lozenge and Ricola.
No, you're good, drinking, brother. Hey, you've been sick.
Yeah, I'm drinking green tea too. So yeah, I've been dog sick. That's why I have
Jen.
That's why I haven't gotten the Cliff Notes, the next segment of the Cliff Notes. I'm sorry, guys. I really am. I've been bad sick. So anyway, Where was I? I totally got
We were
distracted.
leading in. No, we were talking about comments, and we were getting ready to lead into the story. Talking about Zuckerberg's money and how he
Zuckerberg's
lost
money.
all that money.
He lost
Yeah.
$2.9 billion. On Thursday is when he announced that they were changing the way that the news feed was going to come at you. And those of you that missed it and don't know, it's changing it to where it's going to be your friends and family and the things that those people that are directly with you. So all the brands and producers, shows like this, any other brands, clothing brands or merchandise or any other content creators, news stations, all of those are not going to organically get into your news feed, which of course, and Zuckerberg openly said, that this is going to have a noted, I can't remember the word he said, but it was a significant word. He said that this is going to have a noted decrease in the marketing or the advertising, the advertising income that comes through, which of course, not just for him and not just for Facebook, but of course everybody else that has some type of a reach that they've built where they rely heavily on Facebook organic reach and whatnot.
Well, organic reach has been dead in Facebook ever since they started boosting posts.
Yeah, and he also said that they don't have any plans to turn this into paid boosting in order to get back into the news feed. He's flat out, he's saying like, this is the line, like we're changing Facebook to be more, to have better connection with the people that you interact with in normal life, like, which is funny because that's a very quick change, and everybody knows, just like some of the comments have been asking about. Can't wait for Infinity Social Network. It's interesting because Infinity Social Network's basis is just that. It's or not just that, but it is based in that. It's meaningful connections. That's why they have the proximity service. That's why they've expanded it and included a media lounge where you can have all of your your music, basically like an iTunes that's within your social media. So as you're surfing and you're doing your interactions throughout the day, then you've got your music and your media there. And so they're doing a lot of those things, and it's funny how all of a sudden, now that Infinity Social Network is so close to launching, and I mean so close, from the word that I hear, is that now they're changing their tune, and Facebook is changing the way they're kind of trying to present their social media, and it's eerily similar to their new competitor that's about to come out. So, that's just my doo-doo-doo-doo.
No, you're not doing anything wrong, I think. No, and there's nothing wrong with that type of the theories.
Right.
I mean, I tend to believe it. I mean, you're not going to get an argument out of me.
So anyway, Facebook, Zuckerberg lost $2.9 billion on his personal shares. That's how much the stock of Facebook went down the trading day after he announced that. So you know what? Good on you, Zuck. Good for you, man. Happy for you. Hope it happens again. Over and over.
This is karma. This is what you get for screwing your two best friends in college.
Among everybody else along the way now. The millions of followers to the Deplorables page that lost their page, and
he wants to run for president. God help us all.
Oh. Woo. Anyway, all right. Should we get to this?
I'm ready.
All right. So
this is going to be a good one, guys. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable. And like we said, the news has hid this article. This article isn't on the headlines. And like I was going to say, this is something in the 60s that would have garnered. This would have been earth-shattering news. Oh,
it would have been. Are you kidding? It would have been all over every single 5 p.m. dinner time radio talk show. This would have been crazy. And I think this might be one of those sneaker stories, so I'm glad that we're talking about it tonight. So this guy here, if you don't know, which I didn't know who he was, Moby. He's a singer.
Yeah, he's not a very good singer, but he has a few hits. He's had some radio hits.
Now, you guys, I'm telling you, you're going to want to stay through this because as I'm going to go through every piece of this article. We're going to go through every piece of this article because each one of them, I think we're going to be able to make a little connection the dots here. So singer Moby claimed his friends in the CIA asked him to spread the word that President Trump has ties to Russia because he, being Moby, has a larger social media following than the government agency. So because Moby has a better reach than the CIA, now this already sounds to me like you remember several weeks ago how we talked about after that batch of JFK files got opened up, and we saw all the evidence of the CIA and the FBI posing as media and also infiltrating and using media to spread propaganda and untruths. And this strikes me as this is just the modern day JFK conspiracy. This is the modern day. It's the same thing. It's just now instead of getting into a prime time reporter position or controlling a leading editor at a mainstream media station, now they go after the people that have better social media reach. Am I reaching too far here?
No, I mean he says that he spends time with friends that work in the government.
Yep, we're gonna get there.
And that they actually, sorry,
yeah,
I had a little mishap there. He had friends that spent time in the agency and actually sat down with them.
That's right here.
A little bit before and during the campaign, and actually discussed this. Discuss this issue.
Yep, this came out on a Kentucky radio station, which is interesting because he must have. I don't know. This was just the right question, I guess. This interviewer is Kyle Meredith, is the host of this show. He asked Moby, who's I guess he's an electronic singer, about his cryptic Facebook post he wrote in 2017. And this is right here. You guys should be able to. I'll try and blow that up a little bit so you guys can see it better.
He does that like dance, like electronic, I guess, dance rave type music.
Okay.
Francis, from what I understand.
Okay. Hopefully that's blown up big enough so you guys can see that a little better. But here it is. The subject came up after the host Kyle Meredith asked the electronic singer about his cryptic Facebook post he wrote in 2017. The post stated that after he spent some time with friends who, quote, work in D.C., he could, quote, accurately post that the Fusion GPS dossier was, this is his words, 100% real. He's being blackmailed by the Russian government. He also claimed Trump had colluded with the Russian government and has been since day one, end quote.
Wow.
And he wants to go to war, and that there are, and this is another quote, that there are, quote, right-wing plans to get rid of Trump. So,
wow.
So this is what, you got static again, brother. This is what Moby posted on his Facebook post, and he was asked about it by this radio host, Kyle Meredith. He says, Moby says that he, yeah, you got it. Moby says that he wrote the post because his friends that he claims are active and former CIA agents asked him to pass on some information. And this is his quote. He says, they were like, this is the Manchurian candidate. Like Putin has a Russian agent as the president of the United States.
Isn't that insane?
So they passed on some information to me, and they said, like, look, you have more of a social media following than any of us do. Can you please post some of these things just in a way that sort of puts it out there?
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine during the Kennedy years, them going to the press? Or no, going to, let's think of somebody at that time, Frank Sinatra.
Oh,
right?
geez. Yeah.
Somebody, and going and saying, okay, Frank, we want you to go out after a concert. Yeah, we want you to say, hey, there's a conspiracy to do this, or we're going to try to do that. Or, I mean, could you imagine the implications that would have happened?
And can you just put it out there in a way that's like, just nonchalant. Just put it out there. Let it float around.
Just to raise the question.
Yeah, just let it float around, see where it lands. I mean, nobody knows. Right. You guys, is this, are we, I know you and I are on the same page here. Are we this far, I'm interested in the comments right now after, we've only gotten halfway through the story. I'm interested in the comments right now because are we this far off base, or is this like so blatantly obvious that at a minimum the CIA and at a maximum the entire established governing class is in it's not a conspiracy. They are in a organized plot to manipulate and control the American masses by way of untrue propaganda.
Yeah.
It's their primary source. They've got it in the schools, they've got it in the news, they've got it in the media, they've got it now apparently in singers that have a better reach than the CIA. I mean, shit,
Wow.
I mean, we're the CIA. We don't really have to do the right thing. We just have to make sure that enough people think that we did the right thing. I mean, that seems to be the sentiment here. What do people think? What do the followers think of this garbage? Because I can't see him.
Sorry, I lost you. I lost the audio for about 20 seconds. It was weird.
Oh.
It just cut out, and I just caught garble at the end. I'm sorry.
Can you see comments? Because I'm kind of
Yes, I
interested to
can.
see what people think at this point. Because we're only about halfway through the story, and
Okay, we have CIA, really? Troy put, it must be true. Martha, CIA, really? Valerie, deep state. Cat home, hey cats, the FBI and DOJ gave info to Fusion, who gave it to McCain to give it to the FBI. Yes, I mean, we haven't even got into the FBI really and DOJ's shenanigans.
right?
Troy, money is completely trustworthy. Amy Ray, tangled web. Melissa, they're purely corrupt, plain and simple. Neoma, wait, ding dong.
Mm-hmm.
Valerie, coup d'etat. Danae, you are on spot. We have Linda in here, I believe it. The people in the highest policing agency, and those are the 3-letter agencies. And everybody's basically talking about the shadow government. And I mean,
I'm telling
you guys, it's basically been an overthrow since day one. Resist, overthrow, resist, overthrow.
I'm telling you, this is why I was telling. It's not the usual. Hey, help us out. Share the video out. Maybe we'll get 50 live viewers instead of 40, and it makes us feel better. But no, I was serious tonight. Like this is no joke. I mean, this has to be. It has to get out. Because, like I said, again, we're only halfway through, and people are bringing up, like, the FBI and the DOJ, and we haven't gotten into all that, how it intertwines. I mean, we're just simply... this is only, what? Maybe a third of the whole story, and in my opinion, this is the JFK times repeating itself. Or it's the JFK times continued, and we were just duped for the last, 40, 50 years.
Well, no, and I think, and this even makes more sense when you look at JFK and you look at the times and you look how he used to talk and the way he spoke about the difference between government and transparency in the government and the government letting you in on knowing what's going on and the people running the government. It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder why JFK is dead, and it makes you wonder why the files haven't been fully released. I mean, it's probably so earth-shattering that, you could see why Trump wants to release them, but they probably had to tell Trump, this is so earth-shattering that the government might fail.
Yeah.
I mean, the agencies might never be respected again.
It literally could be that bad. If this is, I think it is that bad. In my opinion, from what I've seen, and again, like you and I, we talk about a lot of things and we research a lot of things and stuff that we can't even get to on the show. I mean, we would go, like, I understand how these talk show hosts go for 3 hours a day, every day, sometimes longer. Like, I get it now because it's so deep, but I think we're there. I'm telling you, this has been going on so long. All it has done has it's just gotten more complex and more sophisticated, and it's the biggest corruption and tyranny that I'm telling you guys, we do not have control over this government. We don't.
No.
We have, unfortunately, I'm starting to fear that it's going to not happen right away, but I'm starting to fear if we don't get some shit together in 2018, and I mean really change some local politics, right. I think it's the last shot, man. I really do. I think it's going to end in a bad civil war if we don't in 2018. I think 2018 is the year of reckoning.
No, I agree, and I think everybody, even in their little local communities, they need to stand up. Like in our little local community, we have a meet and greet of the candidate on the 20th. We already set an event page up. We're going to have a flag waving on a local bridge right here. There's going to be a rally, a peace rally that day by a group, which is fine, but we're going to do a little rally ourselves, flag waving, and then we have a meet the candidate right after that. So, I think if every community does that, people are going to have to start standing in their own communities, little groups of people getting together. If you have 1 or 2 people interested, you're going to have to reach out to people that are like-minded, try to get a band, a group of people, and then you're going to have to start going to these meetings and standing in your community, because here's the thing, is people are going to see that you're involved. We're going to be out on that bridge on Saturday, and they're going to go, okay, these people are involved in politics, and they're involved in knowing what's going on in the country, and if we can spread that to people and get more people to become aware, because that flag waving to me is a little more of a symbolic than flag waving, because it lets people know they're aware. There's people aware of what's going on. And when you see people honking at you, you have faith that they're aware also. Does that? It's more than just patriotism at this time. I think the flag at this time is kind of a code between people like us. If people that think alike see you waving that American flag, they're like, okay, I could trust that guy in a fist fight. Yep. You know what I'm trying to say? Does that make sense? So, for them to see us out and to see us out, in our little local community supporting the president on his 1-year anniversary of being inaugurated as president of the United States. He's made a lot of big change. It's something to celebrate for. And then to have a candidate coming in right after that. I mean, excited for that. We have a candidate that's coming for governor. So that's my opinion on how we make that local change. Sorry to elaborate, guys, but that's where it starts. People have to see you in your community getting out and making a difference. I mean, where does it start? Home.
Yep. Absolutely. I saw a few comments and somebody said, can you share it to DML, Dennis Michael Lynch? I assume you mean this article. I can send it to him. If anybody on here is linked with his page, or can friend him and invite him or tag him in the video, that would help too, because then I can get it to him. But I agree. This information has to get out. It has to get out in a widespread and rapid fashion. So let's dig into this a little more. Excuse me. He said Moby concluded by saying he did not know if, quote, there was collusion, but where there's smoke, there's fire. Oh, goody.
I know, right? I've heard that so many times. That should be a CNN T-shirt.
It should be.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah. Moby said his dream candidate would be former First Lady Michelle Obama. Oh, well, no wonder he was so happy and ready to help the CIA, you know. I mean...
Because he's a globalist.
Yeah, I mean,
thank you, Moby, for letting us know you're a globalist.
My friends at CIA, I want to know, who are these friends? Where's the investigation? That's not legal. Like, do we agree on that? Can we agree on that? That it's not legal for the Central Intelligence Agency, one of the highest powered federal law enforcement and investigative agency.
But
it is treason. Especially, I want to know who those agents were that are his friends, because what if one of his friends is struck?
No.
What if? Let's just say what. I mean, I don't want to go off on a wild little tangent here, but I'm sorry if these people in the CIA are his friends and they're in a position where they feel like they know enough to be able to ask their friend to put this information out. That sounds to me like they were probably involved in the investigation, and if that's the case, then all you have to do is prove that they knew that they had some information about the Fusion GPS to show that it maybe was not accurate or it wasn't verified. So then if they knowingly went to a citizen of the United States, specifically for their influence over the American people, and then used that person to knowingly disseminate false or possible false information about the president-to-be and then president, oh my, hang him, bring back public hanging. I will build the freaking stage in the center of town and hang those bastards high at noon. This is exactly what has been building in this country that has brought us to this point where we have to sit and have these conversations. This is treason. This is tyranny. Telling you, this is the year of reckoning. This is a year of reckoning.
And what upsets me about this so bad is the anti-Trump agenda is so fervent that we have people that are left that can't even take Trump out of the equation and say, okay, we have the highest laws of the land, the highest three-letter agencies in the land being used as a political arm, a political puppet to go out and make all these changes. And here's what really upsets me about people. Okay, right here, you've got this right here, which is treason, it should be a crime. You have Comey admitting that he leaked documents to his professor at, I can't remember if it was Harvard, Yale, Columbia.
Yep.
I mean, you have Chelsea Manning, who was convicted and then her sentence commuted by Obama. You have all these people. You have Clinton, FBI emails. You have the classified emails there, the lying. And you know what I don't get? Then you hear about the kid that was on a submarine that took some pictures of his buddies and send them home to his family. And since it's against code to take picture in a nuclear submarine, I can't remember if he did time actually.
He did time, and he's a felon. He has a hard time. In fact, I listened to an interview with him maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and still struggling to get a job and reestablish life. And dude, what he did is so prevalent in the military. I mean, I know guys I've seen him, and I'm not going to say I have because we're on a recorded show, but I have seen a lot of pictures from like within aircraft, within tanks, showing the guidance, the operations. I mean, guys take pictures of where they work. do people,
Yeah.
and I mean, it just happens. They're not, So anyway, get off that soapbox. But you did mention Chelsea Manning, and just while we're here, because we do have to, I do want to finish up with Moby, but I am afraid that we're not going to get to some of these other articles. And you mentioned Chelsea Manning, so I just want to take the opportunity to, bring her into our world. So
guys.
how many crimes was she, or charges was she convicted of?
Okay, guys, this is a BBC article, which, we try to pull articles from everywhere. You're not just going to see right-wing, I guess they would call right-wing or middle ground news agencies. The BBC used to be, but we all know it swings a little bit the other way now. She was found guilty of 20 charges, including espionage.
Espionage.
Yes, formerly known as Bradley Manning. She was a U.S. soldier who moved to Maryland after being released from prison. She was arrested in Iraq in 2010 for sharing more than 700,000 confidential documents, videos, and diplomatic cables with anti-secrecy website WikiLeaks. Now, Francis, you're somewhat of a historian. If you would have done this during revolutionary times, what would have happened to you?
You would bleed out in the streets. I mean, there would be no judge, there would be no jury, there would be no more than 5 minutes.
Oh, I just don't understand. We see this. Oh, let's not forget Bergdahl. We see. I mean, they can just keep going and going. But back to this. I mean, I had to throw Bergdahl in.
Oh, yeah.
We can't let him slide.
Yeah.
I mean,
hang him next to the CIA guys in the
right.
Dude, I'm so gonna get reported for saying that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, we'll probably see you guys in 30 days. It says that, and this is what she. Okay, so the reason we bring Chelsea Manning up is guess what, guys? I guess she has the best. What would you want to call it? I guess she has the best job experience for politics the way our political system's running now.
Oh, she fits right in.
She wants to run for office, Francis.
She fits right in. Oh, yes, she does. And what office would that be?
She wants to run, I think it's Senate in Maryland.
I think you're right.
She wants to run she is seeking the Democratic Party nomination to run for the U.S. Senate in Maryland. They said she will be challenge Democratic Senator Ben Cardin for the nomination. So, I mean, she definitely has the right qualifications to be a politician, at least the way the system's sitting now.
And she's challenging a 74-year-old. Imagine that in today's society with the uprising of the millennial brainwashed.
Oh, well, no, and I mean, and the thing is she's gonna have
she's gonna be elected,
guys.
She's gonna be elected.
Oh no,
period.
I really got to feel. No, you're right. Pam put my tummy feels icky. You guys, like this is what upsets me, guys. Is the left is so fevered to stop this, they don't realize these crimes they would be in jail for. So they're fine. What I'm starting to realize is with all of this, with all the tyranny that goes on, the leftists are fine with being controlled by elitists. Mm-hmm. And is that too far off to say?
No, absolutely not. I think they actually want it.
I think what they want is I think they look at it this way. Make sure. I think, unfortunately, this is socialist, but I think unfortunately they look at it as just make sure I have enough money in my pocket. Yep. Make sure my cell phone works. Make sure I live in a house that's warm. It don't have to be very nice. Get me a car that'll get me 40 miles to the gallon. It don't have to be very nice as long as we're all about equal.
Yeah.
And I'll let you run my life. You just handle Washington, D.C. You handle you don't even have to have state government anymore. Just run it all from Washington, D.C. and I'm happy. Yep. And they don't care that they would go to jail for these same crimes. And that's what I don't understand is you have Americans right now that are claim to be so American, but it's so un-American what they're allowing to happen right under their noses. And that we saw with I hate to bring up another example, Kate Steinle, Kate's Wall. We saw California thumb their nose at the president and allow an illegal alien who had stole a firearm from a park ranger who shot an American citizen in the back who looked at her dad's and her last words were, "Help me, Daddy." And to thumb their nose at the President of the United States and to you and I and everybody else in here that voted for Donald J. Trump, they let him go. So when it's that bad against you, and it just upsets me to see, and then you will see people nominate and elect this human being right here with not a care that she sold this country down the drain. Not a care, and it makes me sick to see, makes me sick to think.
Amen, brother. It's going to be...
I know.
I know.
I mean, what's it coming to, you guys? What's it coming
know.
to? I mean, when is it going to be enough for people to at least say, hey, we just want honest politicians? When is it going to be not so bipartisan that people go, you know what, I can reach across the aisle and look at you and you can look at me? You know, I really quick, I want to just throw out there that I was on Big Sarge last night, and he had a guy on there. We had a good conversation. He was left-leaning. I would say he was liberal. And we had a conversation at the end. I was like, man, thanks for the conversation. It was good that we can talk, and this is how we were going to fix things. And I think he was kind of taken aback because he was like, yeah, thanks, man. It was good talking to you. And when we can do that and realize, like we always say, that we're all on the same path, we have the same goal, we just look at it through a different scope.
Yep.
That's when we make the change, man.
Amen.
But when they're
There you
so
go.
steeped into their hate, how are we ever going to get past things like this? When they'll just, you will have
One
people
at a
that
time.
will vote for her to put a thumb in your face, Francis Marion.
I know. It really has to. I mean, you have to look at it like one at a time, and you have to approach. I think we have to approach it like one at a time, but all the while knowing that this is an aggregate effect. This is an exponential effect. It's not one at a time. It's that I'm talking with and trying to reason with and have these conversations with one person at a time. You know, and by that I mean there might be 2 or 3 others listening, but you're having this conversation with one person at a time. And then the next time you do it,
right,
you're only having it with one person at a time. That's all you can do. But all those people that you've had the conversations with in the past that you've left thinking, questioning, maybe wondering, maybe hating you, maybe loving you, who knows, ever and everywhere in between. Though they're going to develop more and more conversations. So we just got to, there just can't be an end. We just can't give up. That's all it is.
A couple guys from Big Sarge on here. Marcus put his name's Liberal Rich, and Big Sarge put, yeah, Rich gave you great props, Ty. He's our token lib turd, LOL. He takes a beating but stays on the show and really is a smart kid. Right. Yeah, on. Big Sarge, and that's awesome that you have that point of view on there, man. Not many people are doing that, so I really think that's a great highlight of your show. Yeah, that's awesome. I do. I love that aspect of the show. And thanks for sticking with us, brother. Hey, let's back on this Moby thing. Francis,
go ahead.
are you gonna email this article of Fox News to Jeff Sessions so maybe he'll look into this? Or
I should. Is
it gonna have to land on his desk? Is Moby gonna have to be basically picked up and carried in by the local sheriff's department and put on his desk?
He may be. And just to get, I mean, they need to interview his rotten little butt and find out who exactly are these buddies of his that are in the CIA. And I wonder if any of those are still on Mueller's team.
Oh, I
know that's FBI, but you know, what I mean is that the CIA version or the CIA wing, that they did the investigation. The FBI is then investigating the investigation, I guess. I got Kool-Aid calling me. Sorry, Kool-Aid, I can't answer, brother.
It's flush with it. And then you look at their donations. That's the thing, is I think on Mueller's team there was one person on the team that had donated Republican, if I'm right, and it was like $350, and then everybody was 10,000, 500,000, 200. You know, as their job title went up, and the more they had to pay the Clintons and the Obamas for their position of entitlement. Oh yeah. Well, sure, it costs more.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, nothing's free except for if they're telling you in a political speech it is. They even have to pay. But sorry. Sorry, guys.
I know.
I'm on sorry, guys.
Dude, it's
Sunday night.
I know it's Sunday night. It's
been a long week.
Dude, there's endless material. I mean, I can talk all day long. I'm telling you, if we could just keep getting fed with the articles and the stories to just keep tearing into and analyzing, I think we could go 20 hours a day.
Well, and good night, Melissa. And you know what's funny is, and Catherine made up a good point. Kathy Marone put, Moby, good grief, who chose that clown? And that's another angle I didn't think about it as. Is, first of all, I've heard of him. I think he plays some club music. I've heard a song or two. Francis hasn't heard of him. But couldn't you pick somebody better with a better platform?
Well,
they were a better like wouldn't you want to pick somebody that you think has some actual pull?
I think it was just convenience. If they were friends, you know, it's like.
Well, yeah, I guess. But wouldn't you be like, Francis? I know how me and you think. Wouldn't you be like, hey, Moby, I know you have a lot of likes on Twitter and Instagram, but you know, The Rock, he has a lot more than you, and people actually listen to him because everybody knows what The Rock's got cooking.
I just imagine them sitting around in their little CIA planning session, right? They've got this dossier, and they know damn well that it's BS, right?
Oh, God.
I know.
Oh, no, it's junk. It's junk.
They know it is. And so they're sitting around like, okay, what do we do with this piece of excrement? And we still got to get it to go, because if we can get this to fly, then, we're all going up in the big time. We're going to follow Miss HRC all the way to the top. And I just imagine him sitting around going, well, we know Moby, and he's got this many likes. And you got to think, the people that are willing and capable to actually do this and risk their job and their profession and the country, that's the way we look at it. They look at it like they're saving the country, so you got to kind of take that out of it. But the people that are actually sitting around and thinking this is a good idea, they're not the kind that are going to go, yeah, Moby's good, but The Rock is better. I mean, that's why they're not like us. They're different. They're different than us. We will never understand them. It's kind of, I can't say that. I almost used a very bad example.
Moby?
I know. I had never even heard of him. He has more followers than the CIA, and I've never even heard of him.
No, but here's the thing is what, so it makes you wonder what type of people, here's the question is what type of people work for the CIA?
Well, I think we're learning exactly what kind of people work for the CIA. I want to get through this because I think this is the end. So Trump and the Kremlin have repeatedly denied allegations that Russia and the Trump campaign colluded in the 2016 presidential election. A special counsel led by former FBI Director Robert Mueller has been appointed to investigate the potential wrongdoing. Yeah, we know all that part.
Yeah,
so
scarier.
It's freaky that the CIA would say something like this right here. And this is Moby's quote, where he says, and he's talking about his friends in the CIA when they were trying to, talk to him about spreading this disinformation about the dossier. He says, they were like, this is the Manchurian candidate. Like, Putin has a Russian agent as the president of the United States. Me off. So they passed on some information to me, and they said, like, look, you have more of a social media following than any of us do. Can you please post some of these things, just in a way that sort of puts it out there? That is... That's scary. That's Twilight Zone scary. That's
somebody ought to do a change.org campaign to question Moby to DOJ. What do we need, 100,000 signatures?
I think so.
I don't know. How hard is it to set one up?
I don't know. I've never done one.
I don't know. Maybe I'm going to look into it, guys. If I get it done, I'll let you know. If anybody gets it done on here or has time to look into it and decides to set one up, let us know. We'll post the link. But, I can't. This guy has to be questioned. Yeah. He comes out in an interview in a public forum. This wasn't collected illegally, electronically. He offers up the information and says, hey, man, I have friends in the CIA who asked me to leak at that time. This dossier had to be more classified than Bill Clinton's black book. Yep. This thing was probably guarded, chained, chastity belted, bolted to the floor.
Oh, you know it.
And Moby was asked to leak it via social media, and people are not upset. That's right, Big Sarge. That's some deep state scary stuff.
Damn right. That's about as deep as it gets. That's what I'm saying. Is this is like, again, the JFK files that were released, and we saw there was like 40 something federal agents and informants that were within the mainstream media. This is the same thing. What's more powerful today than mainstream media? Well, somebody with a giant social media following. That's more powerful than mainstream media. So they've just switched tactics. Although what they left behind was such a corrupted and colluded narrative controlling mainstream media that they don't have to. I'm sure they're still within and infiltrated in the mainstream media and use that as part of their propaganda. I have no doubt that still goes on. But they've moved on their efforts.
Oh, for sure.
They've moved on their efforts to these big social media reaches because it works. Look at Donald Trump. If you deny or think that maybe some kind of leaked information or it wasn't leaked, it was misinformation. It was intentional misinformation. If you think that can't have an impact, just remember that Donald Trump pretty much won the presidency as far as from the media campaign side of it through social media.
Oh no, and he admitted it was cheap.
Yep.
He was like, the more press talks about me, and he knew good or bad
That's right.
It's almost like, when you hear in the mall that they play elevator music that, like we said before, don't steal, don't steal.
Yep.
And people are hearing Donald Trump, Donald Trump, and everywhere you went, it was Donald Trump. To this day, it's Donald Trump.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The reason they don't kick Donald Trump off of Twitter is because one of these little upstarting companies would be like, oh my God, let's pick him up. And then they would be a multimillionaire company overnight. I mean, the stocks would flip in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, he basically was elected. He ran the campaign on a dime, businessman, and he was elected by social media and the press blasting his name every 5 seconds.
Yep.
So, yeah, we definitely know how much power social media has.
Absolutely. I want to, because I see the clock, I see the time. We've got, I think, what have we got? We already talked about Chelsea Manning. We got three stories left here. So we got,
And really, Pirro, we don't even have to talk about Pirro
Well,
because
we
that's
can-
what we've been talking about is resist. Just so you guys know, Pirro did a thing saying that the left would want Trump to fail no matter what. The headline was Trump haters would rather doom us to failure than applaud his success. And I really respect this woman. She's tough. I really value her opinion. And she basically, I'll give you guys the headline. Saturday on her Fox News Channel Justice opening statement, Jeannie Pirro blasted Hollywood over its hatred of President Donald Trump and his transparency, saying Hollywood rather obstruct and resist the president and put the country in danger. And we all know that.
Yep. And she said the difference between President Trump and other presidents is his transparency. No political correctness, no talking out of both sides of his mouth, but instead a hard-nosed, what you see is what you get successful negotiator. But no, rather than applaud him for that transparency, the president's haters would rather take him down, preferring to get in the way of our economic success and international strength. And she's right. She is absolutely right. So,
haven't you seen? They come out and said he's the most successful economical president in his first year Republican.
Mm-hmm.
All these numbers are rolling in what he's done in his first year, and it's staggering. He's putting in judges in at a record pace.
Oh, that's
He's
huge.
doing things that no other president's done, and instead of Americans applauding him for this, I'm telling you right now, man, my honest opinion, the whole shithole thing was a distraction because the American people saw Trump sit down with Republicans and Democrats, and they saw that he was willing to work on immigration, and the left was like, oh my God, he is taking our key
he did that on purpose.
Oh, well, but here's the deal.
It's a beautiful plan.
The art of the deal.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't realize is they thought that they really had him over a barrel.
They didn't know he was playing them the whole time. He was playing them the whole time. They're so self-absorbed in devising their own little tactics and ways to get the I gotcha that they don't realize they're up against a man that's playing chess with them, and he doesn't mess around. When he did that and it was on camera and he was like, "Do you remember? You remember we talked about it?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I trust this group, and anything they bring back to me, I'll trust them and I'll sign it. But
thanks,
as
Phyllis.
long as the deal has the wall included in it." And remember, I told you I was like, "It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. There's no way." And they didn't.
What ticks me off? Oh, go shoot.
Yeah, no, and they didn't. He was setting them up. He already knew ahead of time that they were going to come back with a piece of garbage that he would have no problem whatsoever, not signing, which then now puts them right on the spot because, like you said, they were on national TV with this guy that's more than willing to sit down and have the conversation and work it out. So.
And what upset me about that whole open meeting is the only thing the right-wing press could bring out of it is that he stumbled when Feinstein said, "I want a clean bill." He said in the beginning that he would not do it unless the wall was attached to it.
Feinstein
I don't care if Feinstein said a clean bill. He had stipulated before it was even brought up, and if she wants to make wordplay, that's not on the president.
She hasn't put forth a clean bill since the day she bought her way into office. That woman doesn't even know the definition of clean bill.
No, has no clue. And she's over here. And then what upsets me is instead of the Republicans rallying behind him and saying he's 2 steps ahead of her, I don't know who the clown to the left of him was, but he's one of those, never Trump rhinos, and he's over there making the faces like, oh, the press. You want to know what, man? You know what Trump's doing is he's systematically draining the swamp. He's going to take the rhinos and the Dems out, and I love every bit of it.
I do too.
Feed him to the wolves, Donald J. Trump. Feed him to the wolves,
the
boss.
do-nothing Democrats and the rest-easy Republicans.
Yeah, you want to know what the swamp's being drained, and I'm tired of them making money off the sweat of my back. I'm tired of seeing they showed where all these politicians over the last 15 years, their starting worth and then their worth after they leave office. Trump's has dropped by $1 billion, and the rest of them is exponentially growing.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that isn't what government was supposed to be. I mean, you had the founding fathers pissed off that they had to run for president and that they had to be involved in government because they wanted to get home to their farms and their families,
so they can make
because
money.
they had things to do.
Yep. Yeah, so they could get back to life. I know.
Right. No, now we sit in the ivory tower and we tell you what's good for you and how much soda you can drink and if you can smoke weed or not and how many bullets your gun can have. And then we get to break all the laws, and then you peons, if you break the laws, well, we need that money from your fines, and we need to put you in prisons to keep the job system going. Man, if people would just get together on these same issues, they just don't realize we're all preaching the same thing.
Yep. We'll get there. It's coming. To finish up here in the last about 5 minutes, Hannity and Gingrich fire back at Obama over his comments about Fox News. What did Obama say about Fox News?
Basically, that I'm not going to say the exact quote. I'm going to say the Thai Freedom quote, that if you listen to Fox News, you're an alien.
I don't know what planet we're on, man, anymore. Well, Obama never gave up. He never will.
No.
He still in his mind thinks he's president or should be, but he sees it as he sees his role as this community organizer, becoming like a sort of messiah-like, organizing the whole country. And so anyways,
and don't forget he has to have, and this is Mr. Obama worried about global warming, but he's got to follow Trump's coattails all around the world and go in and talk right behind him, but he isn't worried about his carbon footprint trying to run the shadow government.
Nope. No, well, he's exempt, man. He's like a king. This is a kingship and dictatorship, and they want their, lords and ladies beside them, and that's about it. So that's about all we get. That's how they view us. Well, I think we got news for them. Hannity and Gingrich, I'm unable to play this video right now, so you watched it. Can you give us a rundown?
So basically, you guys, it's just the interview with David Letterman. And David Letterman looks like a homeless Santa Claus. If you all haven't seen him. It looks like they took a guy. It looks like they took a bum off of the street, took his change cup, took him in a basement, sprayed him down like Rocky, and put a suit on him and had him interview President Obama.
Oh, goodness.
Or ex-President Obama. I definitely was watching it, and he asks him, can we explain? And Obama goes in to say, that NPR, pretty much what he equates to is most people should listen to, or people with common sense listen to NPR. But anybody else, or anybody that listens to Fox News, and the only reason he picks on Fox News is I'll get to the second part of that. But Fox or any type of right wing,
yep,
is on another planet.
Yeah,
they're from another
planet.
From another planet. I mean, that's pretty much, I would say,
pretty
everybody
straightforward
in here. Yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward. I'm pretty sure everybody in here, whether you watch Fox or not, I'm sure you read an article or two. Most of us do from them. So you're from another planet. Yeah, Troy, NPR is the adult Sesame Street. Robert Brandt, homeless Santa. Yeah, no, so yeah, he definitely, and it's a slap in the face. I mean, he's called us, okay, we've had Hillary call us deplorables,
yep,
which I got that tattoo because I wear it with pride. We have Obama saying that we cling to our gods, guns, and religion. I mean, and now we're aliens.
Yeah.
So what are we? I'd like to know. Well, according to them, with their beliefs, is we can claim to be whatever we want, so they can change it. It's like that article you did. It's got an infinity. You can add as many letters as you want to it.
That's right. Wow. Yeah. I saw. I can't remember the guy's name, but he does the interviews for InfoWars. He goes out in the streets a lot. The younger guy.
Yeah, he's awesome, but he's brave.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but I was watching him the other night, and he was like, he called it the LGBTQSSWTFY. I'm like, he just he threw a niner in there too. Anybody that's from the military is like WTF 10 I'm like, okay, that was funny.
Yeah, I mean, but
I don't care who you are. That's funny right there.
So, we're tired of being put in a corner. We're tired of being told that we're this. We're tired of being told that we're that. And You know,
Here we are, baby.
deplorables unite. We've all had enough. So the second part of it
Yeah.
is Hannity. Then it shows, you know how Obama blasted Hannity during his whole presidency, right?
Yep.
And that's the second part of it is, you know, remember when he said I'd have a beer with Hannity, and then Hannity invited him for a
Yep.
beer, and then Obama said, well, I didn't know. So it goes through all of that.
Yeah.
That's
Perfect.
basically what the whole thing is, you know, Hannity has it out for me and Bill O'Reilly has it out for me. So basically he pulls the poor me card the whole time.
Yep.
And how Hannity and Fox News basically berated his whole presidency.
That figures.
But we haven't seen him stand up for Trump and say, okay, guys, you give him 95% bad press coverage now. You know, Hannity and Fox News was hard on me, so you guys should lay off of the poor guy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, James. Obama stood up and said that he was going to fundamentally change this country. Quote, end quote.
Quote, end quote. And that...
Hey, Tony.
That is what he has set out to do. All right, so I guess I can see if we can pull it up here. So this last bit, Iran. Now, you want to talk about being from a different planet? This is
insane, you guys. Wait till you see this.
This is insane. I mean, people have got to be, literally have got to be in different realities. And I talk about, you remember I've talked about how being on college campus and shit, during the last few years, and feeling like I was in a Twilight Zone. Like, literally, it was a different reality. Well, this is that. Here's the one story from, who's this from? This is from Newsweek.
Newsweek.
So this is Newsweek's story on the Iran protesters. And I'll scroll if you want to take it. So it says...
okay, so the headline.
Says what the Iran protesters really want. It is not Trump's, quote, great support.
Yeah. So basically it's an article guy talking about how there's unrest in the country, but people really... Okay, so Trump had come out and said that the people were in favor of his support when he tweeted out.
Right.
And they pretty much, Newsweek comes out and said, he said the Iranians would see great support from the United States at an appropriate time. Okay?
Yep.
And they said at that time it carried more militant language, added fuel to the fire, created more problems for him. So they said that the quote that he made, from what I understand from this, is that it made it more unrestful,
like
more
inflammatory.
hard on him. Yeah, it was more of an inflammatory comment than actual help.
Yeah.
And that's what I got from this article. I mean, it's Newsweek, you guys. I mean, I'd like to know. I'm going to look up who owns Newsweek.
So they, so it says, while the demonstrations have so far appeared to be largely homegrown and representative of a widespread desire for reform among the population,
Yes.
Iranians may not necessarily be taking comfort in Trump's promise that the U.S. is watching. So that's the position of this story.
Yeah, and they make it sound like it's an unorganized mess.
Yeah.
That the Iranians, that it's just an unorganized, it's a few people here and there trying to throw this together, and that, you know, and now Trump, big bad Trump's made it harder on them.
Yeah.
Because he's opened his big mouth.
Yeah, and they just want to be kind of left alone to do their thing their own way. Now, the next article, it's about the same topic, same quote by Trump, same stance.
And the last one was the 3rd, guys. Don't forget, it came out January 3rd.
The last one came out January 3rd. So this is... hang on, let me get it. This one's a little different. I got a little different format. Okay, so this is Fox News' article.
Yeah.
This was
today.
This was today. Iran protesters thank Trump, call for stronger sanctions. Is that so?
Yeah, is this the same Iran? Or is there another Iran that we're talking about?
Well, I don't know. This could be. No, I'm pretty sure this is the same Iran. I'm pretty sure. This says they're risking their lives to bring freedom to Iran and vow to continue their protests.
Yep.
These uprisings have just begun. People are not at all willing to give up, one activist told Fox News from the streets of Iran. At least Fox News is putting a quote, and they're saying this came from an activist on the streets of Iran. You know, the other article is all conjecture and subjective opinion. It's so frustrated.
No, you're right. It is subjective opinion. There's really nothing from the streets. Basically, what it sounds like to me is they got like a little end of like an intel paper that kind of give the state of things on the ground, and who knows from what agency or who knows from what leftist organization that was over there that wanted to, portray it any way they wanted to.
Yep.
The thing about it is they want him to tighten sanctions.
Yes.
I mean, they see that the pressure because
right here,
when it gets tougher, when it gets, okay, you're right.
Right here.
And what you have to realize is these people are, yes, they should impose major sanctions on the regime, one protester demanded. Another added there should be sanctions for human rights violations. So what these people realize is they see what's happening with North Korea, I think. I mean, these people aren't stupid. They see that they're getting ready to crumble. We have South Korea saying you have to give Trump a lot of credit. I think tonight I saw that there was a big-time commander for the Filipino army. I saw he said that his president said that Trump should be given the utmost credit for what's going on in North Korea. So I think that they see that if he makes it a little tougher on people, not only do the Iran get to appeal to the UN when people are starving, because the UN's looking.
Yep.
But also they see the political end of it.
Absolutely.
They see that if Trump puts more sanctions on them and starves more people, because these people are already starving. They're the ones that are mad.
Yeah.
They're pissed off that Iran got all those crates of cash in a C-130 from Obama, and they didn't see their country get any better for it because all it went to was rocket fuel and computer parts to, push their, in a centrifuge underground. And they're starving to death. So what I think they want to do is they want America to put so much sanction that the upper class, like we're talking about, starts to struggle, and then they get tired of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, they can only take it so long. They can only take it so long.
They can only take it so long, man. So, yeah, that's where we stand with Iran. Now, you guys see both sides of this. It's a mess.
And this is key right here, I think, real quick. Sorry to cut you off. The National Council of Resistance of Iran, the NCRI, also known as MEC, the group's leader, Mariam Rahavi, has been directly blamed by the Iranian government for fomenting the unrest. Social media videos show supporters unveiling large banners with Rahavi's photo over highway overpasses and continuing their opposition. So this is not just for these people to go out and put a banner with Rahavi's photo on it in Iran, you're asking to get sniped.
No veil on her face?
Yeah, you're asking to get sniped. So
a woman? Yeah, You're right, brother.
So,
well, it's been a good evening, man. Geez, we didn't have much time, but we chewed through the fat, right?
We did. It was good. Hey, I appreciate everybody being here tonight and following. And tomorrow, you guys, for who's left in here, tomorrow, stay close to your Facebook because I'm expecting to see some major news come out. There's going to be some big things come out. It's not political. It's not what you think. I'm just saying. Stay close. Keep an eye on Facebook tomorrow. Just because it's a holiday, don't take a holiday from Facebook and the internet.
Take his word. That's a day to be on it. Take his word. And just a quick shout out to all the SoCo Patriots I see in here, Eric and Steve, just to let you know we got a little event I invited you guys to here for the 20th. So look into it, guys. Get a hold of me if you want to come. And I want to thank everybody for joining tonight. And you guys don't forget, if we don't stand for the liberties and freedoms that we have today, our children and our grandchildren, they're not going to have them tomorrow.
Amen, brother. Love you, bud.
Good night, brother. Love you. Talk to you soon.
Good night, and everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Stay vigilant. We'll see you Tuesday.
I'm out.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. we